white. I put them on there and I don't notice them easily. I'm not involved in stuff.
So I'm in the coffee shop waiting for the tour. I'm really early. I'm an hour early. Oh wow, look at this painting. They gave me some tea. The tea is included in the tour, so that was great. Look at this painting.
When it's cold out now, it's just either don't know.
Love it.
I have no idea.
Yeah, some history and stuff about the area. It's called the Greenwood District. And they're playing some good soul music. Oh my gosh, this is my favorite music artist. His name is Music Soul Child. He's my favorite artist ever. So yeah, they're playing some good music.
And like my previous job, I couldn't do all the bars and short because of their back. So then, once then somebody he's just like, so like, let's not just cut in the same shape. So we tried cutting. I was using it not at the very same time. I really wanted to get some carving because I know my voice was addicted.
Money, the cars, all the fancy stuff. The A is jazz again. That silhouette is a guy named Hal Singer. They called him Cornbread. He was a kid here during the massacre. Moved to St. Louis right after it was over. And he became a famous saxophonist in St. Louis. So he's in the Jazz Hall of Fame in, I think, 5 different states because of it. Then the next one is the Oklahoma Eagle, which I've told you about. It's a black-owned newspaper. Next L is the Gap Band. Some of y'all look a little young. Y'all might not know the Gap Band, but those of y'all who do, the Gap is from right here. Uncle Charlie Wilson actually grew up right down the street on Greenwood. But Gap stands for Greenwood, Archer, and Pine, which are the 3 main streets. This is called the Gap because you're on Greenwoods in between Archer and Pine. So my parents, my grandparents, that was their word, go to the Gap and be there when I get off work. So that's what we kind of knew. Of course, they had a song called You Dropped the Bomb on Me. The song wasn't about here, but the title was. Then the S is the Juneteenth, which we have our Juneteenth right here in Greenwood every year. For the last 3 years, it's been the largest Juneteenth in the U.S., so it gets pretty big. But all of this is shut down, so it goes quite a while. Then the T is Booker T. Washington Hornets. So May 31st would have been Booker T. Washington's high school prom night. So while they were having prom, that's when the massacre actually started, directly across the street. So the church you can see in the skyline over here with the tan rooftop, that is Mount Zion Church. That's where the fight actually started. So that was the first place set on fire, and the Booker T. Washington High School would have been right across the street from it. So that's where the kids left the school, went into a grocery store. Tulsa's talent comes from that one high school. Alfre Woodard, the actress, went to Booker T. Dr. Cornel West went to Booker T. What went to Booker T? You got Wayman Tisdale. There's like 34 different football players that all went there. So like it's currently, I think there's 4 Booker T graduates in the NFL now. So that one high school produces all the talent. But that became the magnet school here in Tulsa. Reason being is because it had the most qualified teachers back then. And so it's the best school to get in, but black kids don't really get into that school anymore. So in comparison, back in 1981, Booker T would have been about 80% black. This year it is 21% black. And out of the 21%, I think it's 76% of those kids play sports. So if you're not an athlete and you're African American, it's tough to get in that school. And it sits right in the middle of a housing project, which is 95% black. So the kids who live right next door to it can't go there. Reason being, you have to have the right test scores and you have to be accepted into Booker T. They are only required to take 25% of the registered kids from that area. The other 75% can come from anywhere. So the reason they were able to basically take that school away from African Americans is mainly through dual languages. So the wealthier kids go to dual language academies where they learn French, they learn Mandarin and all this other stuff. Anything other than Spanish. Reason being, there's only one high school in Tulsa Public Schools that teaches French, Booker T. Washington High School. Every other high school teaches Spanish. So if you took Spanish in public school, you can go to any high school. Those insurance companies were like, well, we can't pay it. They told us we can't.
Who's they?
The city of Tulsa.
So after they burned down the people's property, they maintained their land. So they put their tents on their land.
Yep. So B.C. Franklin would have been right where that small street is, right next to the street. He put a tent right there, and he filed every last one of these insurance claims himself. He's on here too. But his name was Buck Colbert Franklin, but he's the one that filed it. So when you go in the History Museum, there's going to be a picture.